All right. So one more time, welcome family members. Thank you all for joining us tonight. With that, we will go ahead and begin our session today. So good evening, one more time. My name is Gabriel Aragon, and I serve as the program coordinator for orientation and family programs, managing and supporting our parent and family initiatives. I am very excited to be here today with you all and connect for the next hour. For those of you who are joining our program for the first time, thank you for tuning in. If you are an FIU alumni or a mini series returner, then welcome back, and we're looking forward to spending this evening with you. The point of these webinar episodes is to connect you with FIU resources and professional staff members as will help you get as much information as you need to help support your students' experience here at FIU. Today's session, we will be having our colleagues over from OneStop. FIU OneStop makes navigating the financial side of your student's college life even more simpler than before. They are your go-to resource for all things related to financial aid, scholarships, student accounts during the entire time they're here. During this session, OneStop will break down the 2026 to 2027 financial aid process, helping have families understand key steps, deadlines, and tips to ensure that everything runs smoothly coming the next year. Whether it is applying for aid, managing payments, or checking eligibility, FIU OneStop is here to guide you every single step of the way. If this is your first time attending one of our webinars, I do want to address some of the technical aspects of today's session. For those of you on our Zoom, you will see the Q&A or question and answers feature at the bottom of your screen. Feel free to use this to ask any questions you have throughout the entire presentation that our panelists will be answering during the live Q&A portion at the end of the session. You can also use this chat feature for any technical issues you can also use the chat feature for any technical issues you may be experiencing, and one of our staff members will be more than happy to assist you. If you're streaming this through Facebook, well, hello, Facebook attendees. I'm so glad that you're here today. Please feel free to leave any comments or questions in the comment section of this video, and we will try our best to get every question at the end. This session is also being recorded, and it will be uploaded on our Facebook page and our YouTube after this session. Should we experience any audio or screen sharing challenges, please bear with us as we will quickly troubleshoot that issue so we can stay on track and still deliver this information to y'all tonight. With that being said, I would like to introduce our guest speakers for today, Kyla Justin and Janeris Acosta. I am very excited to have the two of you here today with us. For those who are meeting you the first time, Kyla and Janeris, could y'all tell us a little bit more about yourself, your background at FIU? And after that, feel free to share your screen and start presenting.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much, Gabo, and the Orientation and Family Programs team. My name is Kyla, and I'm joining you from Miami at FIU's main campus. I am an enrollment officer too at FIU OneStop, and I also attended FIU for my bachelor's and my master's degree. So I'm a proud alumni, and I'm giving back essentially. Today, my colleague Yana Iris and I are really, really excited to be here today because both of us actually did graduate from FIU, and we do understand the student experience from the first time that you're applying to navigating everything when it comes to admissions and financial aid. And we do understand how that process can be a bit challenging for those who are doing it for the first time. So here today, we want to present you with something to just make your life a bit simpler. And of course, we're going to be here to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
All right, give us one moment while we go ahead and share that presentation. But Yaneris, go ahead if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi guys, welcome to orientation. My name is Yanadis Acosta. I am an enrollment officer too at OneStop. Just like Kyla, I also graduated here at FIU for my bachelor's degree, so I definitely feel very, very connected to the institution still. And just like Kyla said, we definitely know that it's a little bit overwhelming to start college, especially for a big college, and don't even know where to start, where to go. So we're definitely here to assist you guys.
And understand your financial aid offer. Welcome to FIU OneStop. Today we'll be going over how to receive and understand your financial aid offer. Filling out the FAFSA application is the first step to receiving federal, state, and institutional aid. A student will fill out the FAFSA online through the U.S. Department of Education, and the results will be sent to FIU in order to determine how much aid the student is eligible for. The FAFSA is totally free, and it's offered at fafsa.gov by the Department of Education. The FAFSA is available for students who are U.S. citizens, permanent residents, or who hold certain other visa types. We would recommend that every student who meets these requirements fill out the FAFSA, regardless of income or family financial status. When you complete the FAFSA, the student and the family will both enter information about the household and the household's financial situation. If a student is a dependent, their claimant or parent will also fill out part of the form. If you aren't sure whether your student qualifies as a dependent or an independent, or which adults in the student's life should be filling out the form, don't worry, there is guidance on the FAFSA website and on the form itself. When filling out the FAFSA, be prepared for each participant to create an FSA ID that will serve as your login information. You should also be ready to provide the following documents: Social Security numbers, federal income statements, W-2s, asset information, residency and household information, and tax records from 2 years prior. You can also give consent for the FAFSA to link directly to the IRS to retrieve this information more easily. Make sure you know how to access all the information, or be ready to link to the IRS to make sure that you have a smooth experience filling out the FAFSA. If you need any help filling out the FAFSA, there is a dedicated customer service line that you can reach out to. Your school will not be able to see your FAFSA until it's all the way completed on your end, so we wouldn't be able to help with any roadblocks that may come up as you're filling out the form. Most importantly, it's important to ensure that the information you fill out on the FAFSA is accurate, especially the student's social security number, date of birth, and full name, including any middle names or any double last names or anything like that. This information should reflect the information on the student's social security card. It's important that this information is accurate both on the FAFSA and in the FIU system, because this is how the FAFSA will link to the student's FIU account. There is a new FAFSA application for every year, so you will need to fill out the FAFSA several times throughout your student's academic career. The academic year that started this fall term was covered under the 2025-2026 FAFSA. This application will cover the upcoming spring and summer as well. In addition, the application for next year just opened on October 1st. Please make sure to fill out the new application for the 2026-2027 aid year as soon as possible to make sure your student continues to receive aid next year. There's no deadline to fill out the FAFSA. However, you must make sure that you're filling out the correct form for the semester that you're looking for aid for. In addition, it's always better to submit your FAFSA as early as possible. Many grants have a limited number of funds available, and you have a better chance at receiving a portion of that funding for your student if your school receives your FAFSA early. FIU's suggested priority deadline is March 1st of each year. This is a great date to aim for when completing your FAFSA each year. After the FAFSA is submitted on your end, you'll receive a FAFSA submission summary or a student aid report from the Department of Education. This would be a document that summarizes the information that you reported on your FAFSA form. It includes your estimated eligibility for a federal Pell Grant and federal student loans, as well as your Student Aid Index, otherwise known as SAI. The Student Aid Index is a number that gives schools an idea of your student's level of eligibility for aid. This number is not a specific dollar amount of aid that your student will receive, and it's also not a dollar amount of funds that your family will have to pay. It just serves as an indicator to the financial aid team about the results of your student's FAFSA. The Department of Education selects some applicants to go through the verification process, which just means that some of the information that you all provided on the FAFSA will be audited. If you're selected for verification, FIU will let you know, and will put tasks on your student's to-do list on the FIU portal. You may also need to prove your residency status as part of the financial aid process. If you need to do so, your student would see a task on the to-do list called Proof of Citizenship or Proof of Permanent Residency. There would be further instructions once you click on that task. FIU will access your FAFSA after you become an active student at FIU and after you complete verification if you're selected. Our financial aid team will evaluate the information provided on your FAFSA and work on putting together a financial aid offer of all the funding that you qualify for. This happens every semester. You would receive an aid offer for each semester that you're enrolled at FIU, and just keep in mind that this offer could change from semester to semester or from year to year. If your family's financial situation has changed significantly from what's reflected on your federal income tax return, for example, if you've lost a job or otherwise experienced a drop in income, you might be eligible to have your students financial aid adjusted. Complete the FAFSA questions as instructed on the form, submit the FAFSA form, and then after you receive your aid, you can get in touch with us at OneStop at FIU to discuss how your current financial situation has changed and if you need to do any additional reporting. After the financial aid team has reviewed your FAFSA, your student will get an email to their Panther Mail that the financial aid offer is ready for viewing. Your student would log into MyFIU, select the financial aid tile, and then select the correct aid year. We mentioned that this aid year is 25-26, and next fall starts the aid year 26-27. This would take your student to a list of all the awards that they're eligible for. The offer would be released close to the start of each term. When you review the list of offers on the financial aid tile, you'll see that any scholarships or grants that the student was offered were already automatically accepted on their behalf. These funds are gift aid that do not have to be repaid, so the student is automatically opted in to say yes to receive those offers. The student may be offered institutional grants from FIU, which are based on availability and financial need. Another common grant that you might see in that offer is the Pell Grant, which is offered by the federal government based on financial need. If your student has earned the Bright Futures Scholarship from the state of Florida, make sure to tell the OSFA organization that you're attending FIU. It's very important to make sure your name, date of birth, and social security numbers are accurate in both the FIU and Bright Futures system to ensure that the accounts link, just like we talked about previously for the FAFSA. There are also FIU scholarships. Like grants, these scholarships are gift aid that do not need to be repaid by the student. Each scholarship does have its own individual eligibility factors, so just make sure that your student browses all of our available FIU scholarships to determine which ones might fit them best and apply to those individual scholarships. Students can navigate to scholarships.fiu.edu to visit our Office of Scholarships website, and they have a bunch of other contact information on there as well. In this same list of awards on the financial aid tile, your student will see their loan offers. The student will need to go in and make a decision whether to accept or decline their loans. This is the student's choice. FIU is not going to make a decision on the student's behalf since loans need to be repaid. The student can choose to accept or decline loans based on their preference and their need. They don't have to accept the entire loan. They could also choose to accept just a portion of the loan that was offered. The loans that are offered in the financial aid package are federal loans. This means that the lender is the U.S. Department of Education, and these loans are offered at lower interest rates than other educational loans. If the student chooses to accept a loan or part of a loan, they will see 2 tasks come onto their to-do list. These must be completed before the loan funds will go out to the account. The items will contain links that take the student to studentaid.gov to complete 2 agreements and educational materials about the process of receiving a loan. When the financial aid funds are ready to be sent out, they'll be dispersed to the student account. Your student account houses all of the charges incurred with FIU for tuition, other mandatory fees, housing if necessary, and meal plan if necessary. The financial aid funds would always go to this account first to work towards paying off any charges you owe to FIU. In regards to the timing, loans are dispersed to the student financial account about 10 days before the start of the semester. You have to be enrolled in at least 6 credits to receive and keep your loans. Grants and scholarships, on the other hand, are dispersed about 5 to 7 business days after the add drop period ends. Students can add and drop courses freely during the add drop period, but once that deadline passes, the enrollment is basically locked in. Your grants and scholarships would then be adjusted to reflect your accurate enrollment level at the end of the add drop period. Then the funds would be dispersed to the student financial account. As we just discussed, grants and scholarships will be dispersed after the add drop period ends. The exact date is on the morning of the payment deadline. So after the aid disperses, make sure that same day to check the student's financial account balance. If there's still a balance left on the account, that's money that the student would need to pay out of pocket before the tuition deadline. The account balance should show 0 by the tuition deadline. Alternatively, the student could always enroll into a payment plan and just pay off that first installment of the payment plan by the deadline. If the account balance is, on the other hand, a negative number, this means that the financial aid dispersed, it covered all the charges, and there's even extra funds left over. In this case, that means your student would likely be receiving a refund soon. In summary, your student's financial aid process will go through the following steps. First, the student completes the FAFSA each year. They ensure that their name, date of birth, and social security number are accurate in both the FAFSA and the FIU system. Next, the FIU financial aid team reviews the student's eligibility for awards, and we post that award shortly before the start of each semester to the student's MyFIU account. The student will review the offer and accept or decline any loans that they were offered. If the student is accepting loans for the first time, they'll head over to the Department of Education website to take care of those 2 tasks we talked about. The student will then enroll in courses, adjust their courses as necessary, and their aid funds will be adjusted accordingly. Financial aid funds will then disperse to the financial account. Loans will disperse before classes start, and grants and scholarships will disperse after the add drop period ends. On the day of the payment deadline, we'll take a look at that financial account, and if there's any balance remaining, the student will pay that balance out of pocket by the tuition deadline or enroll into a payment plan. Alternatively, if the aid covers all of the tuition and there are funds left over, then we would expect a refund to be generated for the student. The student would maintain the aid that they accepted by remaining enrolled in their courses. If they have any concerns at all about dropping or failing a course and what that would do to their aid, we would encourage them to please come speak to us at OneStop. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you have any further questions about financial aid, please feel free to reach out to the OneStop department using the contact information shown on this slide. Thank you again, and remember, pause up.
All right, thank you, OneStop, for sharing that presentation with us today. We're gonna go ahead into our Q&A. We have one right now. It says, "Are there grants and scholarships that do not require completing the FAFSA?"
So unfortunately, there are no grants that are given to students without them completing the FAFSA. All the grants, including institutional grants, do require the FAFSA. A lot of information about that is found on our onestop.fiu.edu page. However, there are scholarships that are awarded to students who do not complete the FAFSA. A lot of international students are able to apply for scholarships as well because they do not need to complete that federal application. We do have a scholarships office at FIU that you can talk to about that. And you could visit them at scholarships.fiu.edu for more contact information or more information about the scholarships that they offer.
That's a really good resource to have. I know that they always are uploading scholarships too throughout the year, so make sure that you're
Correct.
checking that. Um, I have another one that reads, "If my student was selected for verification, who can they contact?"
Okay, so verification is an external process. It doesn't happen at FIU. It's a random thing that happens by the Department of Education. Essentially, they flag a student's FAFSA. Maybe some of the information that was reported is not correct, or they just need to confirm that information. We do have an external service called ProVerify. They work with every school that within the United States. And their number is going to be, I can type that in the chat as well, or my colleague Yana Iris can type that number for you guys. If you have any questions, you can contact them directly because FIU's financial aid office and OneStop, we do not handle the verification process.
So there you have it, folks. Make sure that you contact that person that they're gonna drop here. We do have another one in the chat. It says, "What do we need to do prior to the spring semester? What is the deadline for payment? Will Brad Futures automatically roll over for each semester, including summer, for as many years as the student is in undergraduate?"
Okay, no problem. So the great thing about FIU is that whatever student needs to complete will be on their to-do list, and that can be found on the task tile on the My FIU student portal. So essentially, students definitely need to go ahead and schedule their orientation and also schedule their advising so they can select classes. The number of credits that they enroll in is going to determine the awards or the amount of awards that they're going to be receiving. So if you have a financial aid package already, do keep in mind that it is based on 12 credits or full-time enrollment. If you are enrolled in less than that, your awards are subject to decrease. If you are enrolled in more than 12 credits, your awards are subject to increase depending on the award. Bright Futures, for one, is an award that is going to increase beyond 12 credits. I believe the minimum is about 22 credits. So if you're enrolled in 12 or more, it will increase. Bright Futures does roll over every single semester as long as you meet the requirements. So you are meeting the renewal requirements such as the credits and GPA. As long as you are eligible for the scholarship every single semester or every single academic year, it's going to roll over. You do not need to do anything except make sure that FIU is your school on the Bright Futures website. And you also need to be enrolled in 6 credits every semester to receive that scholarship. Because if you're not enrolled in 6 credits, if you're enrolled in less than 6 credits, then the scholarship is really just going to sit on your account and never going to be disbursed to your charges that are on your account. But Bright Futures, I do know a lot of students have that misconception that they need to be enrolled full-time to receive Bright Futures. I just wanted to put that to rest and say, hey, no stress. You do not need to have a full-time enrollment load to receive that scholarship. And
Okay.
the payment, I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
It's just the last one. So on our onestop.fie.edu website, we do have information based on the payment deadlines, the add drop deadlines, the dates that certain scholarships and certain types of grants and loans are going to be disbursed. So for the spring semester, the main one, the main session, the payment deadline is going to be January 14th. So we still have some time in order for us to make sure that we have enough aid or we have enough funds to maybe cover our spring charges. But I do want to really direct you guys to the onestop.fiu.edu website, and because we do have our Know Your Dates calendar that changes every semester, so students are aware of these important dates and deadlines.
Yeah. Two amazing resources right there. The one-stop calendar for sure, if you want to be more on top of it. And I would definitely encourage yours. I would definitely encourage you to encourage your students to be checking that FIU portal, since like Kyla mentioned, it does have that to-do task that your student can be checking to make sure that they're on track to complete all of those tasks. We have another Q&A, and it says, if my daughter drops a class, will it affect their award?
So the general answer is that it can affect the students' awards. We don't really like to give a we don't like to really give a general answer because it depends on the type of aid that the student is receiving, and it also depends on the time that they're dropping that course. Sometimes, if a student is enrolled in maybe a full-time enrollment, depending on the time that they drop their course, their financial aid may be reduced or it may be affected. Bright Futures, it does. I just wanted to say for Bright Futures, dropping a course does affect that scholarship. So like in the video, our colleague was saying in the video, if you do want to drop a course or you're thinking that you may fail a course or if you were trying to reduce your course load in any way, definitely come see us so we could take a better look into your account to let you know what may or may not happen. It's not a one size fits all, unfortunately.
It's a very situational.
Yeah.
Talking about bright futures, someone did ask, did they need to enroll on 6 grades on the summer to maintain bright futures?
Yes, every single semester you are required to enroll in a minimum of 6 credits to receive the Bright Future Scholarship. It's not full-time. Half-time, 6 credits is the minimum credit requirement to get that money every semester.
Make sure that your students are enrolling in those classes. Then we would hate to see them lose that award for sure.
Exactly.
I have another Q&A question, and it reads, if I'm interested in the Parent Plus loan, how would I go about getting that for my student?
Okay, so the Parent Plus loan is not offered when students fill out the FAFSA, but parents can definitely apply for that on the fafsa.gov website or studentaid.gov, and they could get a lot of information about the lender information because there are different lenders who provide you with that loan, as well as anything about interest. You could find plenty of information regarding that on the FAFSA.gov website. It's offered through the Department of Education.
Okay, so that's good to know. That's good to know. Definitely check that out and get that all the information needed. Um, we have another question from another family member saying, will financial aid cover the housing costs in addition to the tuition charges?"
So that also is a very situational topic. We cannot determine if the financial aid is going to cover all costs. It really depends on the aid that you receive. Some students do receive more aid than others because maybe they will receive federal aid in addition to scholarships or scholarships, whether they're internal or external. So sometimes it can cover your housing costs, but there are other times where you do need to cover those costs out of pocket, as well as meal plan charges, because the whole purpose of financial aid really is for tuition mainly. The federal government awards students that to help them cover their tuition charges first and foremost. And if there's anything that's left over, it can definitely be applied to your charges. It will be the housing charge followed by the meal plan charge after tuition is handled.
Okay. Talking about charges and what covers and what not, we did receive a question saying that if my child received additional financial aid, uh, no, can my child receive additional financial aid if their offers do not cover all those charges?
So students can receive other financial aid, and that can come in various forms. It can come in the form of Parent Plus loans, alternative or private loans. Maybe some parents, they do work for maybe the state or the county, and they do provide them with tuition reimbursements. That can also work. I do know that some students are Florida prepaid recipients, so that can also be applied to their accounts. And if they're getting any other external scholarships from other organizations, that can also be used to help cover their tuition costs. Now, if the student does receive a lot of financial aid, they can get that money back. So let's say the financial aid they receive is more than what their charges are, they will get that money back as a refund. We're not going to keep that money for another semester. You're going to get that money back once the financial aid office has made sure that your awards are correct, and our financials office make sure that all the charges are taken care of.
Okay, that's great to hear, especially for family members that are concerned about that. Make sure that your students applying to multiple grants and scholarships since they can stack to the charges in the university. I have a question that reads, what aid would hit first? We have Florida Prepaid and Bright Futures.
Okay, so Florida prepaid is usually that's the type of aid that's going to be disbursed before any other type of aid. So usually before the semester starts, so about the week right before the semester starts, you can see that the Florida prepaid is immediately applied. Some students or some parents do not want to use the Florida prepaid in some semesters, and that's completely fine. We do have an opt-out form that can be found on our onestop.fiu.edu website. We also do have a partner student financials that helps students with applying Florida prepaid. And also maybe if you want to opt out or you have any questions about billing charges on your account, you could speak with them to assist you with that. Bright Futures and other grants are going to be disbursed on the same day as the payment deadline around midnight, so students and parents can have a more accurate view of what they actually owe, if they owe anything by that payment deadline.
Awesome, awesome. So Bright Future goes first, and then anything. I mean,
Florida
prepaid goes
prepaid,
first.
yes.
Prepaid goes first, and
And
then Bright
then,
Future.
correct.
That's good to know, especially for anyone who's using both. I have a question that reads, when should they apply for scholarships for next year? Is it better to apply for the FAFSA at the beginning of the year so that the W-2 forms from this year are available?
So for scholarships, there's a life cycle for scholarships. So they're not the same scholarships may not be available every single year. That's a question that you could direct to our scholarships office so they can let you know when the best times are. Since One Stop does not handle scholarships, we really and truly would not be able to answer that question directly. But we do encourage students to keep checking the scholarships website. It's going to be FIU Academic Works, and that's where students who are currently admitted to FIU and active can see the scholarships that are available, the deadlines, as well as the amounts that they would receive if they were to be awarded that scholarship. When it comes to FAFSA, we do recommend students applying as early as the day that it comes out. Usually the FAFSA application opens up on October 1st. So right now the 26-27 FAFSA is currently available. So we do encourage you guys to go ahead and apply for that, because a lot of grants, especially institutional grants, are based on a first come, first served basis. And if your FAFSA is completed by FIU's priority deadline, which is going to be March 1st of 2026, you have a better chance of receiving institutional grants. When it comes to the FAFSA, the W-2 form that is used, or the tax information that is used, is going to be for 2 years prior. So you do not have to worry about doing it at the beginning of the year when you get your W-2 form, because for the 2025-2026 year, for example, which is the FAFSA that we're the aid year that we're currently in, we're using the 2023 W-2s, or 2023 tax documents.
So you heard here first. Make sure that the moment those applications open, your student helps on them, especially if they want to get it first. Like kind of mentioned, it is a first come first served basis. We will hate to see your student miss out on that opportunity. We have a question of a family member asking, how can I review my student's billing? How can they show me or get access? Can I just call?
So at this time, if your student is starting in the the spring 2026 semester, billing is not available yet, because the student financials office, who is in charge of billing, have not billed students. They haven't billed any students. Students that are continuing, students are just starting. Nobody has been billed for that term. I would say closer to the beginning, about 3 weeks before the semester starts, then you should see that information. We do have a cost calculator. You could find that on our OneStop website, which helps you estimate cost. I can give you a little cheat code right now. So if you are an in-state student, you will multiply the in-state tuition charge, which is about $205.57, times the number of credits that you are, your student is going to be enrolled in. If they haven't enrolled in, maybe if you can multiply by the number of credits that you think that they would be enrolled in, and you could add about $209 to that amount, because $209 is the amount for the total university fees that you're going to be charged in your tuition billing. And if you're an out-of-state student, the same thing applies. However, you just have to multiply the out-of-state rate, which is about $668, and you multiply that by the number of credits, and you add $209 to get an estimate. If you are in online classes, your tuition may be a bit more, because you do have to pay an online fee, which is about $30 per credit.
Right. That's good to know. It's good to know, especially for our family members, outstate, in-state, and online. Um, we have a question that says, my student applied for FAFSA but has not received their package yet. What do we do?
Okay, so that one really depends on a number of factors. So number one, it depends on when the student submitted their FAFSA and when we received and processed that FAFSA. It could also be that the student may be selected for verification. So definitely check their to-do list to find that information out. And maybe they have to do other things like prove their citizenship, or provide certain documents just to confirm that information. Unfortunately, this is not a one size fits all, so I cannot say, oh, this is definitely what's happening. The student would have to come to us or contact us so we can look into their account and provide them with that information. We do have a financial aid line. Their number is going to be 305-348-7272. And just to repeat that, it's 305-348-7272. And you can definitely contact them. I know at OneStop, since students are coming in, they're applying, we do have high call volumes, but if you'd like to just speak about financial aid solely, you could definitely contact them. And the number is in the chat as well for your reference.
That's an amazing resource to have, especially that phone number. I'm sure it will come in handy.
Yeah.
We have another question, and it reads, if my student is not living on campus or eating on campus, are those estimated fees removed?
Yes. So the estimated fees are really just estimated just in case you may be dining on living on campus or dining on campus, right? So if you are not doing any of the above, then you can definitely minus those from what your tuition costs would be. It would be significantly, well, not tuition, but your charges on your account. The charges on your account would be significantly lower. So you don't have to worry about that. That's a really great question because a lot of people do come to us and ask, why am I being charged this? And we have to let them know that it's not you being charged, it's just a little estimate just in case you are anticipating, living on campus.
That's good to know too. We have another question which says, will my child have to complete the two loan task every time they accept a loan?
Great question. So as long as you accept a loan, you do not have to do and you've done these tasks, by the way. So as long as you accept the loan and you've done those tasks, you do not have to do these for the next 10 years because they are valid for 10 years. So you don't have to worry about doing it every single semester. As long as we receive it, as you're gonna accept the loan in the future semesters and the loan is going to automatically be applied. You don't have to worry about doing them again.
So one-time process, family members, and after that, your student is good to go when it comes to accepting more loans in the future. Uh, we have one more question that says, can my child apply for additional grants if they meet the requirements according to the OneStop website?
So unfortunately, those grants don't have an application. Like I said earlier, and I believe the video did say that, it really is on a first come, first served basis, which is why we encourage you guys to submit the FAFSA as soon as possible because FIU, just like other schools, are given a certain amount of aid from the government to allot that to different students. And the university grants and state grants are not going to be awarded to every student, unfortunately, even though they may qualify. We wish we could, do that, but unfortunately, that's not the case. Some students are fortunate to receive it in every single, well, the fall and the spring semesters. Some students may receive it in one semester and not receive it in the next semester. You may not receive it right now, but in another semester, you may receive it. So just try doing the FAFSA as soon as possible. Definitely as soon as it opens if you're able to, and definitely before our March 1st priority deadline.
Right. So once again, like she said, make sure that your students are on that, on top of that, the moment they open, the sooner the better. That gives them a higher chance to get that aid, correct?
Correct. Correct.
Perfect. Someone asked about the summer semesters once again, asking if there are financial aid offers for the summer semester included in the current aid package.
So the 25-26 FAFSA will be used to cover the fall 2025 through summer 2026 semesters. At this time, if you did start in the fall semester, your package will include offers for the fall 25 and the spring 26 semester. At this moment, the financial aid office has not included the summer aid package. That is usually done a few weeks before the semester for the summer starts. So at the end of April into the first week of May, around that's just an estimate because that's usually when that happens. That's when students can begin seeing the summer offers. But if they're starting in the spring semester, the 25-26 FAFSA will definitely be used to provide them with offers for the summer 2026 semester.
Right. Perfect. So you heard it here. If you're student joining in the fall, they'll have the offer for the fall and the spring 2026. It will come available later on for the summer. And if they're joining on the spring, then that offer will be there already for that summer. The last question we have right now says, when will my student receive their financial aid offer?
So that one is also very subjective. It depends on a number of things. When the student filled out their FAFSA, when we received and process it, if the student has any outstanding verification items or any additional review that the financial aid office needs to do. It really depends on a number of factors. However, once a student's financial aid package is ready, they will receive an email to let them know how to go ahead and view that on the MyFIU student portal. All you need to do is click on the financial aid tab and tile, and then you'll be able to see those aid offers. Just make sure that you're selecting the 25-26 aid year if you're starting within the summer and spring 2026 2026 semesters.
Okay, that's good to know. I think a lot of the answers here are very situational depending on the student.
Yeah.
So make sure that your student is constantly checking that portal, those offers. Um, I don't believe we have any extra questions at this time. So Kyla and Janeris, thank you so much for being here and giving us this information and presenting to our family members. Um, you all more than free to head out. I'm just gonna do a little wrap up here, and then thank you again one more time for coming.
No problem. Thank you so much for having us. We had a great time here. And I hope everybody did learn some new things. And I hope we did answer all or almost all of your questions. And definitely you could reference our onestop.fi.edu website. We call it, or we look at it as a Google because it has so much information necessary for students, whether it's from financial aid to registration to admissions. You can find some stuff there to help you out. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much one more time. Um, okay. With that being said, I would like to do some wrap up real quick with a few of the resources that we have for you to stay connected with FIU and your students, and most importantly with our office. Our office is here to serve y'all and make sure that you have a good transition and a good time here at FIU. So the first one that I would like to provide to y'all is our family orientation course. If you are someone who likes to view resources at your own pace, well, this is the best resource that we have available to y'all. Since this is a self-paced course and it's completely free, where there are a lot of interactive videos and articles on different university resources. And it will continue to ease your experience as you become a member of our Panther community. The link to access this course is here on this slide, but also I'm just gonna say out loud so people can hear it if anything, is go.fiu.edu/PF orientation. One more time, that is go.fiu.edu/PF orientation. This is also a great tool if you were not able to join us at the orientation program over the summer, or if you're not going to be able to join us in the orientation program this upcoming winter season. If you did attend, I would like a little refresher on the things that we touched upon that orientation. This is also what you can use for that refresher, since it will have everything that was talked on at the orientation session. The next thing I want to bring up to y'all is that we have one more mini series available this fall, and with that, that will conclude our fall lineup. Please stay tuned for spring lineups as it will be coming out shortly. However, I would like to point out that the one next week, so 7 days from now, same time, same place, is about FIU's internship experience in Washington D.C. FIU offers a variety of internships in DC, and if it's something that your student might be interested on, I would definitely recommend you joining and you and your student maybe joining for this, gain that information to you so that you know what does it bring, what does it consist of, how long is it, since it always varies depending on the internship experience offered. Next up, we just want to say that we have many ways where you can stay connected with our office and hear about our future programs. Like I mentioned, our office here is here to serve y'all and to make sure that you have an easy transition into a Panther community. We have our Facebook and Instagram handles up here too, so you can stay up to date with our events. I would like to point out that our Facebook group, the family Facebook group, it is mainly run by other family members. There are some staff members in there, yes, but we're mainly there just to answer university related questions. But most of the times, it's family members asking other family members about maybe updates or their experience, or if they have questions. It's a very nice group that I would definitely recommend for you to join. I would also like to mention that feel free to visit our Panther uh, feel free to join our campus ESP web sorry yes, our campus family portal. This portal is a new resource and I'm super happy about it since it brings all the information that you need regarding well, the university. I don't believe we have the link up here, but my colleague Vanessa will drop the link so y'all can have access to it. And if you're not following us on social media, we do have a newsletter that goes out once a month with official FIU news. So feel free to subscribe, or you can join our mailing list where we send several ways to stay engaged per month. Don't worry, we will not spam you. We're not one of those subscribers list that sends emails back to back. That's not what we're here for. Lastly, our office staff is always here to support all our parents and family members via phone or email, as we're open Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. With that being said, thank you all for joining us today. It has been a pleasure connecting with all of those who were on. Feel free to watch this video on our Facebook group and our YouTube, since it will be there. In one more minute, we will close this webinar in one more minute as you all are logging off. I hope you'll have a good evening, everyone, and we hope to see you next week, our next Parent Family mini series on November 20th.